80 days, no rain. Drought spreads to 15 districts in Bali. And new sports, arts, and music visas. Stay tuned for details. Welcome to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is September 24th, 2023, and my name is Bruce. Now, what's the weather like today? A little humid, 28.8 degrees Celsius and 71% humidity at 11 a.m. and wind speed of 9.4 kilometers per hour, and yesterday it was up to 37. Yes, 37 kilometers per hour. It was so windy. My ladders blew over. Whoa, what a mess. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers used to say. And I hope wherever you are on the island, it is a beautiful day as well. I was down in Denpasar 2 days ago to go to the consulate to get a new passport. And wow, the traffic, I've not been down there in a year. The traffic was unbelievable. It was packed from here to Singaraja all the way down to Denpasar. Took us 3.5 hours using the shortcut. So the shortcut did not really help a whole lot. And once we got down to Denpasar, it was just move a little, stop, move a little, stop, move a little. And this cannot all be blamed on tourism because most of these cars and motorbikes and trucks were local. There's just too many vehicles here on the island. More vehicles than people. And the roads just aren't made for all this traffic. And they want to bring in more and more and more tourists. I don't see this being sustainable. If you're a tourist, do you want to sit in traffic for hours while you go from one place to another? I would not. And I am not going down to Denpasar again unless I absolutely have to. And that adds a number of other places here on the island where there is just huge amounts of traffic. Boy, what a mess. Okay, so let's get started. 80 days without rain. Bali drought spreads to 15 districts. Denpasar Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysics Agency, BMKG, reported that the drought has spread to 15 districts because of 80 days of no rain. Generally, the coordinator said, Bali is placed in the category of rainy to extreme drought. The 15 districts where drought exists in Buleleng, Gorogak, Kubatambahan, Sawan, Sukasada. That's in the Buleleng Regency. Malayan District in Jembrana, as well as Kintamani, Bangli, Karangasem, and Kubu districts in Karangasem Regency. Other districts, Kuta, North Kuta, South Kuta in Badung, Nusa Penida in Klungkung Regency, East Denpasar District, and South Denpasar District in Denpasar City. The coordinator for data said that the longest drought was experienced in Kubu, Kubatambahan, and Kintamani. And it looked like we were going to have some rain. We got just a little drizzle the other day and then nothing else. It was cloudy, and we did get some sprinkles when we were up in the mountains around the Badugal area, but that was it. And when I mean sprinkles, I mean just sprinkles. So, wow. We need rain. Need rain. Okay, let's talk about more visas. But these are 3 new visas that are going to be trialed. So, new process for sports, music, and arts visas to be trialed. So, Indonesia is going to trial a more streamlined and simplified process to issue sports visas, music visas, art visas for foreigners who are coming here for sports activities as well as music and art performances. And this is according to a press release by the Directorate General of Immigration. Pak Silmai from Immigration said, "We are simplifying the visa requirements for sports and music and arts so that Indonesia becomes a destination country that is taken into account for international sports and music events." He said, "Soon, many international events will be held. In October, we have MotoGP. In November, we have the Coldplay concert." Oh, really? And the U17 World Cup. With the new regulations, official athlete teams, event organizers, or international artist promoters will no longer need to attach labor permits, police record certificates, or certificates of at least 5 years of work experience. So they really are streamlining this. Removing irrelevant requirements, Pak Silmai explained, was based on the consideration that foreign athletes and artists only have activities in Indonesia for a short time, and moreover, the context of work carried out by the foreign athletes and artists does not have a competitive effect on local workers. He's optimistic that simplifying these requirements, Indonesia can hold more sporting events and music performances on an international scale. Reflecting on the success of the 2018 Asian Games event, he hopes that Indonesia will become a magnet for foreign tourists to come to watch international sports events, matches, music concerts, and all of that. That has been going on in other places around Southeast Asia, but not nearly as much as in Indonesia. He said what's happened so far is that Indonesian citizens have flocked to watch concerts in Singapore, Thailand, Australia, even as far away as Japan. So we're simplifying the requirements so that event organizers are increasingly interested in holding these events in Indonesia. Okay, that makes sense. According to the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, Pak Sandiaga Uno, he said permits will be granted 14 to 21 days prior to events. He said that Indonesia's event licensing process was more difficult than that of neighboring countries such as Singapore and Thailand, and he emphasized the need for digitization of the permit system, as many event organizers have complained about receiving permits only a few hours prior to the events taking place. Last February, President Jokowi urged police and local governments to accelerate sports, cultural events, and concert permits in order to encourage public spending and boost national economic growth, while also pressing for an implementation of an electronic-based one-stop licensing service for arts and sports events. This pilot project will be trialed now, it's available now, and evaluated periodically, making it easier for everyone to get their licenses, and the government is optimistic about expanding to around 3,000 events with an estimated value of 197 trillion rupiah, about 9.9 billion US dollars. Applications for sports visas and music and art visas can be made online via the evisa.immigration.go.id page, and you can do that right now. And what are the visas? I'm not going to go over all of it, but just to give you a general idea, music and art, the visa C7. This is for a person who displays or performs a work of art and culture, including dance, theater, and other arts. It's up to 60 days, extendable. Cost is $2 million for 60 days, and you can engage in art and cultural related activities, including but not limited to theater, dance, and circus performances. Visa C7A, a person who performs music performances, up to 60 days, extendable. Cost is 2 million rupiah, and it's good for 60 days. This is for performing in music performances and receiving rewards or facilities for activities carried out. Visa C7B, a person coming to Indonesia along with music performances as support crew, up to 60 days. Cost is 2 million rupiah. And sports, Visa C8A. This is for a person who will participate in sports activities by the invitation of the Indonesian government, international sports championships, or participate in sports activities organized by international sports organizations as an athlete. This is good for up to 60 days, and the cost is 2 million rupiah. Visa C8B, a person who will participate in sports activities by the invitation of the Indonesian government, international sports championships, or participate in sports activities organized by international sports organizations as a sport official. And this is 2 million rupiah as well, and good for 60 days. So there you have it, rundown there. And you do need to be invited to come and do this. This is not, as far as I understand, this is not a freelance one. You have to have, well, like a big concert like Coldplay, let's say, or I don't know who's popular these days. But with these new visas, maybe we'll be getting some more concerts here in Bali and some more sporting events. When is baseball going to come to Indonesia? I don't know. Wish it would. Let's get on. What about the Gilimanuk-Mengwi toll road? Right? It's still not going. Gilimanuk-Mengwi toll road stalls. Perbekel in Tabanan schedules re-meetings. The village heads, whose areas are affected by the Gilimanuk-Mengwi toll road construction plan, are going to have another meeting. This is so that everybody is up to speed and knows exactly what's going on with the stalled toll road. There was a previous meeting, but only 8 Perbekel parties out of 19 total showed up. So they're going to try again and see if they can get more people. Pak Inyoman Amawa said that the meeting will be rescheduled, and apart from that, he's also collecting data on villages affected by the Gilimanuk-Mengwi toll road construction plan. He said, we've created an informal group specifically to look at the villages that are affected and all the things surrounding that. According to him, the information needs to be spread to everybody because residents whose land is affected continue to ask questions regarding the construction of the toll road, but they're not getting any answers. He said, what are they worried about? They don't dare to plant. They don't dare to remove the stakes that the construction had set up. Those whose houses are damaged are confused because they don't dare repair them because they don't know if they're going to be torn down or not. Residents of Antosari village have also complained about the stalled construction road, because residents whose land is affected feel that it's wrong to carry out any activities when they may start construction at any time. Last July, you may remember I talked about this, Antosari residents put up banners addressed to the governor on the edge of the main road to Pupuan district, asking for definite information regarding the continuation of the toll road construction. If it's not going to be continued, residents are asking for all the stakes around the project to be removed so that they can use their land for farming, gardening, and renovating leaky houses. Previously, the Minister of Public Works and Public Housing, PUPR, Basuki, revealed that the toll road developer was having budget problems and so was not able to do the construction. He said they asked until July, already passed, for time. And he confirmed, however, that the construction of the toll road is going to happen. Estimated cost 24.6 trillion rupees. And he said it will be completed according to schedule in 2025. They're just looking for a few more investors. And so will we ever see this toll road? Remember, this was one of Pak Koster's big infrastructure plans. So is this ever going to happen? Probably someday, sometime. They just need to get some more investors. And so we'll just have to wait and see. How many times have you heard me say that? Okay, let's get into some tourism stuff. You remember that I've talked about the tourist from UK who pushed the policeman? Well, that story developed. It became more complete as more information came out. He did not just push the policeman. He also slapped him and knocked him over, apparently. Caucasian persecuting traffic police handed over to immigration. The perp was handed over to immigration after the Denpasar District Court sentenced him to 1 month in prison with a probation of 3 months, according to Article 352 of the Criminal Code concerning the crime of light maltreatment. Head of the Criminal Investigation Unit for Denpasar Police said that he planned to deport Adam, that's the guy's name, while his girlfriend was at the crime scene but untouched by law at the time of the abuse because she didn't do anything, apparently, although she didn't have a helmet on. The perpetrator's sentence means that if during the 3-month probation period he does the same thing, he will be immediately sentenced to 1 month imprisonment. In other words, as a number of other articles have said about this, he got a light sentence. And this occurred on Sunset Road on Monday the 18th, if you remember from last time. And what was happening, let's just review. 2 officers were controlling traffic. They found a rider who was riding with his girlfriend or female companion, and she did not have a helmet. So they asked the driver to move over to the side. He tried to escape, apparently, but he was blocked by one of the officers. At that time, he became angry, and he pushed and slapped the officer until the traffic officer fell. Even though he received harsh treatment from the violators, the officer did not put up any resistance and tried to be professional. At that time, his senior came to calm down the perpetrator and provide an understanding of the traffic rules in Indonesia to the Caucasian man. In the incident, the perp actually clearly violated traffic rules, but the police exercised discretion in allowing him to leave in order to avoid traffic jams, it said, and because a crowd was forming at the scene. The policeman who was pushed and slapped made a report until the perp was finally arrested at a villa in, where else? Canggu, right? Based on a letter of recommendation from the police, the perp has been deported. He was deported Friday, a couple of days ago. And so he's made out pretty well, actually, out of this. He pushed and slapped a cop, and he did get sentenced, but didn't serve any time, was just deported, and, well, I don't know, is he going to be back in 6 months? Considering that he was convicted of a criminal act, my guess is that he would not be allowed back in. But in Indonesia, you can never tell. So he may be back in 6 more months to carry on with his nefarious activities, or he may just decide to go to another country and assault people. And here's a really unfortunate incident concerning tourists. Carrying 10 tourists, minibus swerves and hits a tree. A minibus carrying a group of tourists from Belgium had an accident on the Singaraja to Gilimanuk Road over in Ngurah district. The result of the accident, which occurred at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 foreign nationals had to be rushed to the hospital. The Bule police head of traffic unit said the accident started when a Toyota minibus carrying the tourists after a tour of Pemutaran was going to the east, over here towards Singaraja, and, well, they were going to go to the airport apparently, and so they were on their way that way. They tried to overtake a vehicle in front. However, as they were about to overtake the vehicle, the car swerved and hit a tree. As a result, the car was damaged at the front. You can see in the picture how bad. Apart from that, the 10 foreigners had to be rushed to the hospital because they suffered injuries. According to the police, the accident occurred because the driver was not careful in overtaking the vehicle in front of him. The accident is currently being handled by the Bule Police Traffic Unit. And so if you are here as a tourist, or if you are taking transportation, let's say you're a resident, but you're getting a driver to take you someplace, you can tell people to slow down. You can tell the driver to slow down or not to pass if they're trying to pass in areas where you think it's unsafe. You don't have to sit there quietly if you've got a driver who is driving unsafely. I know a lot of foreigners don't want to bother the driver. They think they know what they're doing, but some of these drivers do not pay attention to what they're doing. They make some risky maneuvers, and you've got to take care of yourself. So if you've got a driver who is in a rush, ask them to slow down politely. Hopefully the foreigners are okay. But wow, that must have been a scary experience. And here is one of the weirder things that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of weird stuff here over the last 3 years. Caucasian woman climbs Ngurah airport fence, follows Google Maps but confused on the way. So a video upload went viral of a foreign woman climbing the fence over by the airport, Ngurah. According to information from sources in the fields, the foreigner was determined to climb the fence because she was confused about finding an exit from the airport. Based on Google Maps, she was directed to the place where she was. Her goal was to go to a hotel north of Ngurah Airport. One story said that she was looking for the Harris Hotel. And so the foreigner climbed the fence in order to get out of the airport. While still on the fence, someone saw her climbing the fence. And so after being given an explanation by some authorities who came over, she understood that she wasn't allowed to do that, and she left the airport through the pedestrian exit west side in front of the Al-Ikhlas Mosque. According to the source, she was confused about finding the way out because of the Google Maps. She was following Google Maps, and so she just went where it told her to go. And when there was no way to get out, she decided to climb the fence. And so she was told, well, you can't climb the fence because it disturbs order and it violates the rules. And, well, she was good about this. She didn't try to run away or anything, apparently. And so she got down from the fence and she walked through the actual exit there. Because the foreigner listened to what the officer explained and followed his directions, she was not detained. Thank goodness. It was just a bizarre incident. We didn't have time to ask for her identity because the officers immediately directed her to the proper route. and so she got out of the airport correctly. And, well, the video is viral. It's easy to find. It's pretty funny. She's way up there on the fence. I don't know. I wouldn't do it, but maybe, who knows? Maybe she's practicing to get into the Olympics. There's a new sport next to the Olympics, fence climbing, and she's in training here in Bali. You know, we want to bring more sporting events here. And an update on the Viagra Villain. Well, the Viagra Villain was apprehended, of course, and the police were handing him over to immigration. The plan was to hand him over to immigration, and he went back voluntarily to Australia in order to avoid being deported and anything else, maybe prosecuted. Although there was the situation where the two of them, the woman who was at the counter and the Viagra villain, shook hands after he paid her some money. And apparently he was 19 years old, and a lot of the social media comments about this are extremely funny. I mean, some are just, oh, you know, what a jerk, what an idiot. Why do we get people like that here? Other ones, you know, making some plays on words about, well, Viagra and what happens when you take Viagra. Okay. Climbing fences, stealing Viagra. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. And I will see you next time.